Good morning students. Once again welcome you all in this English class. Students, today we will do lesson number 8 of your first flight book, that is Mizbil the Otter by Gavin Maxwell. First I will give a little introduction of the lesson. In this lesson the author tells us how his life changed after he decided to domesticate an otter after he lost his pet dog. He takes us through his journey of adjusting, playing and travelling with Mizbil or Miz the otter from Iraq to London, and how during this journey he developed an inseparable bond with him. Now I will start the explanation of the lesson. Listen it carefully. Student, this chapter is also not coming in your board examination. In the beginning of 1956, soon after the author's dog passed away, he travelled to South Iraq. He was too lonely without a pet but wanted to keep an otter instead of a dog this time. He thought that keeping an otter at Kemisferena was a good idea because the otters loved water, as Kemisferena was surrounded by water which was close by. It was a perfect place to try this new idea of domesticating an otter. On sharing his intention of domesticating an otter with a friend, the latter suggested that the author should get one from the marshes along the river Tigris, as otters were very commonly found there and were generally tamed by the Arabs. They had this conversation when the narrator and his friend was going to Basra. Upon reaching, they discovered that only the friend's mail had received. Author tried connecting to England by a telegraph, and when there was no response, tried connecting through a call which demanded to be booked a day in advance. He could not connect with them because of a holiday and technical glitches for another 3 days. Finally, his friend left and they both decided to meet after a week. His mail arrived after waiting for more 5 days. As soon as the narrator received the mail, he went to the bedroom to read it, only to find 2 Arab men with a sack which twisted itself again and again. They handed him a note sent by his friend which stated that the otter was a gift from him. The otter was packed in the sack. The author considered domesticating an otter as the beginning of a new phase of the life that is still continuing. He developed deep affection and a unique bond with the otter that could only be understood by others who have even owned an otter. As soon as the narrator opened the sack, the otter came out on the tiled floor. He looked like a small version of an ancient imaginary creature, the dragon. He was completely covered in mud and from beneath it, small patches of soft velvet fur could be seen. The fur resembled the skin of chocolate brown colored mole. He shook himself to get rid of most of it, but it took another month of continuous clearing and washing to bring out his actual color. The author named his pet Mizbil, or in short Miz. Mizbil belonged to a race of otters that had been recently discovered by a geologist named Luthergele perspilicata Maxwelli, and was thus known as Maxwell's otter. It took the otter a little time to open up and get comfortable in his new surroundings. He was at a distance on the first day, slept with narrator in his bed lying on the crook of his knees. On the second and began second and begin to know his surroundings better on the third day. Gavin made a belt for the otter just like dogs have to take on the lead wherever they went. When he first took the otter into the bathroom, he discovered the miss liked playing with water. He would jump and roll in water like a hippopotamus did. This was a characteristic of otter to get infuriated with still water, so they played with it and splashed it till the last drop of the bowl bucket. Otters liked moving water, and when Misville saw still water, it seemed that he got angry and would sit in it, splash it, and try to overturn it from the bowl. Soon after, the otter became acquainted with the place. He escaped alone to the bathroom and tried opening the tap with his paws. Surprisingly enough, he managed to open the tap enough to get a trickle of water and then more to get full of flow since he started by turning it in the right direction. On other occasions, he would twist it tighter by moving it in the wrong direction and ended up being disappointed when water did not flow from it. Soon the otter learned to follow the author without a lead. It used to come to him when he called its name. Miss was very fond of playing. He would spend most of his time playing with a ball, dragging and pushing it throughout the room and going after it. Otters are generally known to be fond of lying on their backs and juggle with objects between the paws. Similarly, Miss loved engaging himself with marbles and never dropped one off the floor. He would take two or more marbles and roll them on his wide fit stomach. After a peaceful time at Basra, it was now time to take Misville to England, and the author was on axis even at the thought of travelling with him. British Airline refused to allow animals along with, so he booked with another airline which insisted on Mish being carried in a box not more than 18 inches square. It was not a direct flight from Basra to England. They had to first fly to Paris, then to London. Just as the airline demanded, narrator put Miss in a box an hour before so that it got enough time to be comfortable and left for a quick meal. After the meal, narrator faced when he feared the most. The box was still and blood was dripped out of its air holes. He panicked and opened the box only to find the inner lining torn by frightened Miss. The narrator removed every piece of sharp metal lining and cleaned the box. Till the time everything was back in the place. It was only 10 minutes left for the flight to take off and they had to cover distance of 5 miles. Gavin placed Miss in the box and closed the lid with his hand lest he should escape. The narrator cleaned the mess and hurried in the cab. The cab went extremely fast, negotiating the turns like a recoiling bullet. He somehow managed to reach just before the flight took off, thereby annoying the officials. He got in his seat and gave Miss Bill's food package of fish to the air hostess for refrigeration. He told her the incident which had delayed them, and she gladly understood while explaining him what to do next. Gavin developed extreme admiration for the air hostess as she was very helpful. She took her advice and kept the box on his lap. He felt like kissing her hand as a token of thanks for her help. Miss was out of the box in a flash. He disappeared at high speed down the aircraft. As soon as the author opened the box, Miss jumped out of it and disappeared. There were chaos all around. Passengers were getting scared. A lady climbed upon her chair. When he saw Miss beneath the seat of a white turbaned man, he attempted to catch Miss and ended up getting his face covered in a curry with only to find that Miss had vanished again. Just then, the air hostess extended and offered the help to find Miss and advised him to go back to his seat. On being requested by the air hostess, the narrator came back to his seat and his eyes started looking for Miss. It was only then heard some chitter while Miss climbed up his knees to reach his face. Miss had returned. They stayed in London for a month while Miss had learned to engross himself with tons of games. He used to play with ping pong balls, marbles, rubber, fruit, and terrapin shell. Ping pong ball kept him engaged for about half an hour. Gavin's suitcase had got damaged on the journey. It had a slope from one end to the other. Miss would roll the ball from the higher end towards the lower end. Then he would rush to the lower end and hide, waiting for the ball to reach. He would jump up in time and surprise the ball. Then he would catch the ball and rush once again to the higher end of the suitcase. Very excitingly, he would again hit the ball from the other end. Gavin would take Miss for a walk and exercise just like a pet dog. Miss ran around the streets in the particular fashion just like school kids did. Like children formed different habits of placing their feet in the center of each block that came their way, or of touching every seventh pole of the railing of crisscrossing out of the street light poles. There was a primary school with only the ground floor being constructed opposite the author's flat. There was a low height wall almost 2 feet high that ran along the school's boundary. On their way back home only, Miss would pull Gavin towards the wall, jump on it and run on its entire length at the high speed. He would attract the attention of the students and staff inside the school. As an otter is not very common animal in London, the author found it strange that the residents were unable to recognize one people. He had wild guesses too, as well. The Miss was otter belonged to the group of animals called Mistlines, shared by the badger, mongoose, whistle, stoat, mink, and others. People could guess all animals of the group but otter. Most famous guesses were a baby seal or a squirrel. Most guessed that Misville was a hippo, beaver, leopard, walrus, etc. The most shocking reply came from a laborer digging a hole who pushed working while observing Miss. The man kept his tool aside, placed his hand on his back and stared at Miss. His expression of surprise and affront signaled that he would not tolerate any nonsense. He spat, stared at them and asked the author in a loud voice that what was that Miss Will supposed to be. Thank you, students. We have completed the chapter. Have a nice day. God bless you all.